Welcome back to GEMs Uncut. I'm Heather.
And I'm Molly.
Let's cut it up. Oh man, so this one's an exciting one for all the newlyweds. This is for you. Congratulations.
Or maybe even the seasoned married.
Hey, absolutely. Gotta take a step at some point.
Yeah, just looking to consolidate finances or have that team approach. I think it's for anyone with that mindset.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, it's a commitment to get married. It's also a commitment to reach your financial goals.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a team sport. I think you are a team and you have to change your mindset. You've been maybe individual for so long, or maybe not that long, but ever since you got a bank account, maybe the only other person that had access to it was mom and dad, but they didn't take money out of it, you know?
Right.
And so now it's not just you in control and of your team. I always look at us as Team Greenwood, and okay, what he does affects me and vice versa, and us towards our goals.
Yeah. Well, the number one stressor in a marriage is financial friction.
Absolutely. So, I mean, what should you do?
I don't know, but let's fix it before it starts.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
You got to have a real talk about money, about your emotions on money, how you handle your finances, and it could be completely different, but you have to have the conversation.
And I mean, that's okay to be different, right? But we do have to get on the same page.
Lay it all out.
Sometimes you'll have a really good, I budget and I save and I do this, but you don't realize your partner is the complete opposite. Doesn't budget, doesn't save, maybe has debt or whatnot. And it's just, you got to start having that conversation. And honestly, before marriage is better to have that. You don't want to be blinded by coming into marriage. And being like, oh God.
Right. Can't be secretive. You got to have that conversation as soon as possible.
Yeah.
You got to set goals to make sure you're on the same path. So that's another thing that you got to talk about in the conversation about how you handle your money, but also what goals, what is driving you? What are your future desires, whether it's, having a family or having your dream home, being able to vacation, buying a boat. I mean, the list goes on and on,
Right.
But if you've got different goals and you don't talk about it, you're not on the same path, and likely you'll just never get to any of them.
No, because I mean, you go further together. I mean, it's like any team sport. I mean, really, you can't expect one person on the team to carry the weight of everyone. There's a reason LeBron James hasn't won every single NBA championship. It's not just him. It's his team too.
Absolutely. How do you manage accounts in a marriage, right? We've talked to plenty of people who have different accounts, and then we talked to plenty of people who have joint accounts.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into that decision, and some people feel very strongly one way or the other. I do believe that it can work as long as there's that communication on either end. But one of the biggest things, if you are going to have separate accounts, having a trust, doing some estate planning is going to be super important, but also going through with your CFP, a financial advisor, on the titling of those accounts, making sure there are beneficiaries in place if it's not joint, so that your significant other has access to be able to do something if, God forbid, something happens to you tragically.
Absolutely. I think that's super important. And I don't think there's a right answer on how to handle it. It's just, at the end of the day, communication, because what works for one person might not work for the other, but it's awareness.
Right.
And being on that same, you don't want to feel that sense of betrayal.
Right.
Because, we weren't on the same page about this. I just assumed we were. You know what they say about assumptions.
Right.
So, but yeah, the account changes, those name changes, getting all of that up to date is so important. And I think that one of the biggest things is building a budget and being on the same page about the budget.
Right.
I think it's important to, especially if you end up having kids and whatnot, is you got to get on the same page before then. You don't want to be it's yours and this is mine and you're responsible for this and I'm responsible for this. No.
Yeah.
If you're sharing the expenses of the household, it's y'all's job, not your job or my job.
Right. Absolutely. Some other big things that are important when you get married is life insurance and disability. I think they're probably the two most boring or uncomfortable things to talk about, but they are the most important.
Yeah, absolutely, is what happens if you can't go to work and perform your job duties to get paid.
Right. What do we ask people whenever we're
Yeah.
talking about disability is like, what is your greatest asset? A lot of people are like, oh, my house or my 401k. And we're just like, no, it's your working ability. Especially if you are the sole income for your family and the spouse is staying home with kids or that's the plan.
Yeah.
What if that working spouse is unable to work because of a disability? Some interesting stats on disability is about 1 in 4 people become disabled at some point in their life.
Yeah.
That is huge. And then on the other hand, some employers do not provide long-term disability solutions. Some don't even provide short-term disability solutions. And it's different across employers. I know a lot of the times an employer only covers around 60%. Everybody's different. You got to read through, what that employer provides. But 60% of income, and then on top of that, if you're not paying for it and the employer pays for it, it's taxed. So if you can just think about my household, I make 200,000. That's our household income. I'm the sole income here, and I'm disabled. And I mean, right off the top, there goes 50%. I'm bringing in 100,000, maybe, maybe. I mean, easy math there, right? So you just got to put it in perspective and be like, if this happens to us, have the conversation. Do we have family that would step in and help? Do we have, can we count on something? If we don't have answers to that. You better be putting something in place that gives you those answers because we live it. We talk with people all the time who have to sell their house, have to get government help. Their life completely changes because you don't build the protection, the foundation of your financial household the right way.
Shoot, I think about if something happened to me and I didn't have disability or, our family, my parents love me and they would want to help, but they'd be like, we can't afford to pay your mortgage and all of your bills and all of this stuff.
Right.
I think most people's families would love to help them. It's just being realistic. Can we?
Right. Absolutely.
And then thinking about life insurance too. I think that's super important. Especially if you're getting married, are we starting to depend on this other person and them bringing home this income, just like you said, but what happens if they die?
Right.
So now I can't afford the mortgage or whatnot. I mean, those are big questions even before you have kids. But if you don't have life insurance, by the time you get married, by the time you have kids, it's a non-negotiable.
Right.
But we always recommend every 3 to 5 years, you need to be reevaluating these things. Do I have enough? Do I need to change it up? So
yeah, have your goals changed. I mean, the older you get, I feel you should be getting wiser, but you also just think about life differently. And it's what I wanted then isn't necessarily what I want now. AKA, maybe I want to build a legacy for my family. Maybe things look different. So
absolutely.
And whenever you are working with a financial advisor, you might get those ticks because we're constantly pushing you to be your greatest self, to achieve levels you didn't think you could achieve.
Absolutely. I think just don't wait for that right moment to get help. Start now. You're not just building a life together, you're building a legacy. And that's what Dale and I talk about all the time is what it will be like later for our children and etc. And everyone deserves a seat at the table. It shouldn't just be okay, so-and-so makes more money than their spouse or whatever. No, we're both equals in the conversation. And how can we accomplish all of our goals together?
Yeah. I think one piece of this is you think about what your parents did. And a lot of the times whenever we are meeting with young people, they're like, well, my mom and dad did this, or mom did this, dad told me not to do that, XYZ. Mom and dad never worked with a financial advisor. That's just what they did. That's just what they were taught. And so it's not what fits what your parents did. What generations before you did does not reflect what you have to do. And it's always just important to know that you have options.
100%. I mean, shoot, what your parents did might have been great back in the 90s, but how much has changed since then?
A lot.
So it's strategies should change.
There are podcasts now.
Yeah, right.
Well, what we like to say here at GEMs Uncut is give yourself grace, stay consistent, because every gem starts uncut.